Hello, dear World of Warcraft friends. The first season of World of Warcraft Midnight is over. The second one started today. And at this point, I want to give you a few quick tips on how you can manage to get into keys more easily. How you can get through without a regular group, without any setup at all. I'm also going in randomly again. So far, I've only managed to play one key. We started right away with a +6. That was no problem at all. So we also include a few item level tips here. What item level is appropriate for the keys? And with that, I'd say, let's get started. If you want, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and before we really get started, there's a little message. You probably know this too, the new season has started and somehow things aren't really going well, neither in Mythic Plus nor in the raid. It's just not working out. You know in theory how to play your class, but you just don't have the time to deal with all the little details. Yeah, just to be able to get even better performance. And that's where today's video partner comes in, and that's Overgear. Overgear offers coaching sessions on their own website, which take place over Discord. Someone, a professional player, takes the time to analyze your logs, your VODs, and then discusses with you what you can do better. So that means no boosting, nothing else, but real one-on-one coaching that can actually help you improve. Another special thing is you get 24/7 support. The whole thing is of course completely legal and you are guaranteed to have the best coaches available to help you. And yes, thousands of satisfied customers confirm this. For more, check the link in the video description. And with that, let's continue. And yes, let's get started. Let's move on to the first one. Just ask the question, hey, because that was also mentioned a lot in the comments. I have 285. Can I run +5, +6 with that, etc.? Like I said, I was running this 6 key up to this point. And after that, I was in a +8 in Den of Nalurak, which we would have completed in the end as well. But we left because at the final boss, people didn't get that you have to stand in the shield for the second phase. So you have to stand in the shield once. And after that, you have to soak together again. People couldn't manage that. We racked up another 30 deaths there. It was awful. And at some point, we just quit the whole thing. If you want to see the whole thing, how I get upset and other stuff, feel free to check out my channel. Hesex Plus, stop by, there's a link to it in the video description as well. That's where I upload all the keys I'll be playing. I'll take you with me on the journey to 3400. And like I said, you can already look forward to a rage key. So all in all, based on my previous expectations and what I've seen so far, I now have item level 291 on the Shaman, +8 was healable without any problems. The only exception is when mechanics are played incorrectly. So basically I would say if you have 290, you can jump straight into +8. But we had a situation where, for example, those totems in the Den of Nalurak weren't handled correctly. People were left with 50 HP because of the curse. I can't dispel everyone. Then people go down. If the soak isn't done, or if 2 people are missing from the soaks, the rest don't have enough HP to handle it on their own. It's doable, definitely. And we could have, I'd say, we could have timed the easy going with 7 or 8 minutes left on the clock, if we had played it correctly. But yeah, the DPS players had between 293 and 296. So not that much more either. Accordingly, yeah, from what I've seen, for 8 keys, you should probably have around 295 plus to get invited, unless you're a healer or a tank. With under 290, you can easily do 6 keys as well. That's really not a problem. I would guess that 10 keys aren't that much harder either. But I think realistically, it makes sense to go in with randoms starting at 300 plus. I would say that with a group where everyone knows what we are doing and you have around 293 or so, you can easily do 10 keys. But with randoms, I wouldn't recommend it right away. Yeah, so just ease into it. It's actually pretty simple again. That brings us to the question of how to make the best progress when you apply to groups. One tip I would generally give is if you're a DPS, push your own key. Especially now in the first few days, you should actually be able to find people for that pretty quickly so you can fill up your groups. And here I would definitely make sure to take people with you who have good gear. So you want to turn your +2 into a +5, and then ideally turn that +5 into a +8. Because at +8, you already get the good crests, the mythic crests or myth crests. And you get hero gear starting at +6. Accordingly, you want to get into that +6 range as quickly as possible. One thing I can also add is if you sign up as a DPS, try to offer your second spec as well. You see, even when I sign up as a healer for a high level key, nobody is interested. You see? So if you play a druid, for example, and you can heal or tank, go for it. I did that in season 1 with the druid. I tanked up to 2500 because it just saves a lot of time. Otherwise, if you don't have that, then you really have to stand out in some way. Like I just said, you can play with item level 289 plus 6 or 7 keys. I did that too, but you still have quite a bit of competition there with people who have item level 290 and above. And accordingly, yeah, if you have 0 rating and 285 gear, you probably won't get invited. Here I would recommend, before you jump into these Mythic Plus things, maybe do the bounty hunts or nightmare first. If you complete 3 of them, you'll get the treasure map from the weekly quest. With that, you can grab some heroic gear in the delves. So when you activate it, you'll get a guaranteed item at item level 305. So, well, what can I tell you? It's also possible to get gear outside of Mythic Plus. And you can easily get picked up by randoms, but as I said before, if you don't stand out, it's going to be very, very difficult for you at this point. That's why, in theory, I would try using your own key. If you really want to go with randoms, then make sure you maybe offer your second spec. If you can't do that, do a bit of prep work so you have something to offer people and stand out in terms of gear and so on. And if not, yeah, then you really have to be lucky to get into the keys. I can also say what definitely helps. Make sure your gear is socketed, enchanted, and everything else. That can also help sometimes. It can make a difference. Some people look at the applicant's gear. If you don't have anything to offer there either, it's even less likely that you'll be invited. But basically, when I played DPS in the past at the start of the season and I didn't switch to a second spec, the best thing really is run your own key at +5, then +8, then you already have a good foundation. Maybe get an item or 2 and already have a bit of score. And then you'll have a much easier time getting into 5, 6 or 7 keys again and can work your way up from there. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend playing all keys at +2. Just to have a score. It might be the best chance to get invites, but you'll also just waste a lot of time doing that. So I definitely won't be running anything below +6 here. Actually, I don't want to run anything below +8 on this character anymore. Because honestly, I don't know, it just takes too much time. But in the end, if you don't get any invites at all, that's your last chance. Build up rating so you stand out compared to others. But alright. Thank you all very much for watching. See you in the next video. Have a good time. Take care.